Welcome back to Bones, Bourbon, Barley, and Brass. We're a lifestyle channel where we discuss interesting things. We're going to do something that's a little change of pace this evening. We're going to discuss my football team, the Chicago Bears. They were just eliminated by the Los Angeles Rams, Matthew Stafford, Pua Nakua, Sean McVay. As far as the Bears season goes, as a Bears fan and a football fan, they had a very admirable season. I think going in with the hire of Coach Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams coming on in his second year, some of the additions that they made with the line, with Joe Tooney and others, my projections personally was, somewhere in the 5th through 7th seeded football team, and potentially 5th through 8th depending on how the chips fell. In my opinion, getting the second seed, winning a playoff game, and playing this divisional game down the wire, in my opinion, they overachieved on their year. Very good season, nothing to be ashamed of. Obviously, hey, when you have a chance to go win a Super Bowl, you want to win the Super Bowl. So, unfortunate that we lost this evening, but certainly positive outlook looking ahead. Now, going into next season, it will be interesting. The Bears have slated, if you look at this year's current winning percentages of opponents, the Bears have the hardest strength of schedule going into next year. And that's assuming everybody does the same thing, which we all know they don't, but just go with me on that. The other thing that will be interesting will be, is DJ Moore back? Is Cole Kmet back? I don't know. I'm not a salary cap guru. I'm not in Ryan Poles' head. I don't know. Do the Bears try to pull a trade for Max Crosby out of Las Vegas? No idea. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I will say this. I think the Bears need to look at their defense. And I would start with the line and work my way back. We have a defense that can get pressure sometimes, but not consistently. I was saying to my wife today, we're not a defense like the Super Bowl Giants defenses with Michael Strahan and Justin Tuck and O.C. Manura. We're not like the Baltimore defenses. We're not even like the Chicago defenses of the mid-2000s, and certainly not the 85 Bears. I look at even like Buffalo in the 90s with Bruce Smith. You had Bruce Smith, you had Cornelius Bennett, just to name a few. Dallas had Charles Haley, Leon Lett. I'm trying to think even some recent defenses. Von Miller's bounced around between Denver and Los Angeles and Buffalo. So, and then last year's Philadelphia defense with Jalen Carter and a few others. So, I think it's going to be the focus on defense. I think this evening, when I look at what happened, 2 things happened. 3 things, I would say. I could say a number of things. You could dissect every play. But what I uniquely remember is the Caleb Williams interception. People are saying what happened to DJ Moore. I think that's one question I have. The other question I have is the Rams had a third and 5 or 3rd and 6 on their last possession. And I looked at the play that was drawn up, and I said to my wife, who's covering Puka Nakua? He was in the closest slot to the offensive line. and the Bears were running this zone blitz situation. No one had him covered. Stafford threw a 5-yard pass, and he got a first down. And that play ultimately led to the field goal. The other thing, too, is with the weather, I don't want to say people overstated the Chicago weather, but they thought it was a foregone conclusion that the Bears were going to win because of the weather. I think that's some interesting logic. Now, lest we forget, Matthew Stafford's been in the league since like 08, 09. He was in the same division as the Bears with the Lions, which meant every year he had to come to Chicago to play a road game against the Bears. I say all that. Another case in point, Green Bay. He also had to play against Green Bay. I say all that because it's not like Matthew Stafford hasn't played in cold weather in his career. The other piece of the puzzle here is the wind didn't show up. Was there light wind? Sure, I'm sure it was 5 to 7 miles per hour, but it wasn't 20 mile an hour nothing and then 20 mile an hour gusts or consistent 20 mile an hour winds. You could pull up footage of, I think it was in 05, either 04, 05, 06 of the 49ers coming to town when the Bears played the 49ers. Joe Nedney kicked a field goal, and the wind just took it away. Nathan Vasher ended up returning it like 103 yards for a touchdown. So that's the potential for the wind in Soldier Field. Yes, Chicago is called the Windy City. That's really for the political winds, but there is a certain element of it there. Like I say, this channel, we discuss interesting things. I thought this was an interesting thing. I'm sure there's other football fans out there. As far as who I will be rooting, we have Denver, New England, Seattle, and Los Angeles. And I think if I had to pick, I think where I'm at is anybody but Los Angeles. I don't want to see McVay and Stafford win. I think my first choice is Denver because I kind of feel bad about the Bo Nix situation. And then I would say my second choice would be Seattle because it would be interesting to see Sam Darnold win a Super Bowl after his career going through Carolina and then San Francisco and then Minnesota playing a really good year and now in Seattle. So all in all, like I say, we're a lifestyle channel. We cover interesting things. Speaking of interesting things, what we have on the docket this week, we just filmed a Hofbrauhaus or Hofbrau Dunkel video. I have one other beer video to produce this evening. The dog video came out today. We have some other videos coming up. So in the meantime, more to come. Cheers.